After Victory Gundam, Tomino released a new Gundam entry, even more unique than the rest, about a boy from the moon who fell in love with the Earth and who struggled to save it against his own people. The beauty and gracefulness of Queen Dianna captivated me in her own struggle as she too realizes the beauty of the Earth, and that living on the moon isn't that great. However, the moon and the Earth people are in a war outside of the leadership's control. Mankind had created a new Gundam so powerful it restarted civilization. Now, they are unfortunately heading back into that vicious cycle. This message is a warning to us that in a war, there must be discipline in the military. Without it, it doesn't matter how well Dianna and Guin can lead, because other soldiers with their own agendas will appear and cause havoc. As well-meaning as Dianna was, she didn't see this until it was too late. As clever as Guin, the man who thinks he has it all figured out is, it was not keeping his men in check that caused what he built to start crumbling all around him. But it's not all so hopeless, because this boy from the moon is determined to bring both factions together and to serve his queen. Turn the Gundam feels as if Tomino was burying the Gundam at its most mature state. It's fitting that it has a mustache. In addition to that, the setting is beautiful. It baffles me how so many viewers did not like the bold and creative approach of Turn the Gundam. Yoko Kanno composed a large soundtrack so rich that it complements the background art and the overall style of the series greatly. Compared to the previous Tomino Gundam soundtracks, this one really brings it to life, while also filling the viewers with the most sorrowful yet beautiful emotions of this intense story. It is as intense and brutal as it is beautiful, and it can get very brutal. Turn the Gundam explores a theory I have about mankind, that civilizations long ago reached a very advanced state. Many of them had technology that the best scientists today cannot explain. Not only that, many of these civilizations mysteriously disappeared. All that's left now is what we find on the ground. The question remains unanswered. What happened to them? Laura discovered the Turn the Gundam, that which destroyed civilization, sending man back to the Stone Age. War can never be taken from the human psyche. The weapons of the past begin to emerge again after being buried for thousands of years. Fighting spirits begin to awaken once more. Turn the Gundam is about preventing this cycle from happening again, because humanity might not get the chance to start over if this time around they face total annihilation. Queen Dianna came down to the Earth to try to unite the Earth and Moon people. Disobedient, trigger-happy soldiers ruined it. Diana's way was the way of peace, but her leadership was too naive. It frustrated her, and myself, that though she means well, there was too much corruption within the Moon race. Negotiations became more difficult. Soldiers kept stepping out of line, causing an endless cycle of revenge that wouldn't stop. Secret agents were agitating, with assassination attempts and sabotage. Escalation was the only way the war could go, with no relief. Powerful elements within them moved to take her out, a mindless power struggle. Later, what turned out to be a prank resulted in the beginning of her beautiful character development, where she came to painfully realize the realities of war and the beauty of the earth her people were destroying, her sin. She constantly suffered as she tried to pick herself up and become a better leader. Her story is optimistic, inspiring, and glorious. But by the end, I was unfortunately still left with sadness. Guin went up to the moon because he wanted the technology to further that of his own people. He's an extreme case of the ends justifying the means gone terribly wrong. His vision for the future of his people was too blinded and far-sighted. His methods were extreme, and I'd agree, though he was too naive. He planned for the future, but left the present and the past behind. He developed an obsession with Laura and fell in love. Guin never lost confidence because Laura was the key to his success. Guin's method of fighting fire with fire and to play in his own game of an arms race was too disorganized and ignorant to play out efficiently. He was willing to get his hands dirty, but was a terrible example of it. Not only that, he makes allies and betrays people in such a selfish and reactionary way that people like him tend to end up being alone in the end, with no support whatsoever, but still ambitious, with a goal without the means to achieve it. Turn Gundam has a special meaning to Tomino. Tomino struggled against the corporate side of the anime industry. He didn't care for making toys and for satisfying the otaku. He wanted to take Gundam and continue to evolve it into something more beautiful. He didn't want it to remain stagnant. He was frustrated with Victory Gundam and the type of orders he had to follow. He even tried to ruin it on purpose, and often talks negatively about his own work. Victory Gundam is the way it is because Tomino was in a disastrous state of mind. He expressed this through the anime in a painfully emotional manner, considering its story, though he still wanted to be a little optimistic at least. Despite this, I love Victory and cherish it. He did also put great effort into it regardless. In my Victory Gundam video, I called it Tomino's victory, as much as he would disagree. If Victory Gundam was his victory, Turn Gundam was his salvation. He suffered from depression and body pain between Victory and Turna. The industry and its frustrations were taking its toll on him. Around this time, he had reached out to the women in his life. He also wanted a more feminine staff for his new Turn Gundam project. All-female musical theater troupes, such as the Takarazuka Revoir, played a big influence in the style of Turn Gundam. The main actors were voiced by people with backgrounds in theater. Japanese folktales such as the tale of the Princess Kaguya and Torikaibaya Monogatari had a significant impact on the story and characters. Sid Mead was in charge of the mechanical designs. He came up with the Turna's famous mustache that wasn't meant to be looked upon as a mustache, though that is what the viewers at the time said when making fun of how outrageous it looked to them at the time. Despite all this, Turn Gundam suffered from low ratings. Tomino wanted to make 2 years worth of content, but was cut to 1 year. It's tragic. Even the song from the first OP didn't sell well, which resulted in Tomino and the staff having to bring in a new OP, which could explain why it plays so late into the series, since the first OP was not supposed to change originally. But the Gundam fanbase ended up not being the ruler to which what he'd measure his content with, that being Turna Gundam. He gained praise from the fans who truly understood him and the people in the industry, which became what mattered the most to him. I feel I can really relate to this viewpoint in regards to my own work. The Tomino of the past was slowly being left behind as a new Tomino began to emerge from its cocoon as the journey of creating it began to heal his soul. After all, this is part of the effect he wanted people to feel with Turn the Gundam. This anime gave him the therapeutic effect he had been looking for. As they screened the final episode of Turn the Gundam before its TV release, Tomino cried during the ending. He felt satisfyingly accomplished by the praise he had received. He even went on to rewatch Turn the Gundam 3 times in 1 month. In my case, I see people talk about Tomino as a bitter old man with nothing positive to say. He is misunderstood. I understand his viewpoint that man is a thing that only destroys itself in the end. Talks of peace in the future really don't make much sense when you see where our leaders are taking us. There are viewers who don't like politics, or have a confused understanding of them. It's no wonder that they would completely disregard Tomino in all of his work. With this video, maybe I can help spread the word that there is a beauty to Tomino's passion in his triumph with Turn the Gundam. Turn the Gundam, to my surprise, is very optimistic. The feelings of loss are still here though. They hurt, but the experience is not as extreme as in Victory Gundam. To many, this felt like it wasn't bloody enough. I think it's more significant in that it shows where Tomino was going mentally, with the clarity and resolve he had achieved while making this. He was very merciful with the main cast of Turn the Gundam because he felt more optimistic about his work and didn't see the need to treat it so violently as he had done before. Laura, to me, follows down that great generational line of the Tomino Protagonist. Kind and gentle souls who are passionate enough to wrap their justified anger within themselves, ready to strike. Laura is a sweetheart who at the same time isn't afraid to fight for what he believes in, fiercely and courageously. He has the backbone I rarely ever see in anime protagonists anymore. His kindness is inspirational to me, and I did see my younger self in him. We have the same skin complexion. Now I look more like Guin, as I've matured far past Laura's age. At the same time, I would never want to be like Guin. Laura's devotion to Queen Dianna and the mutual love she shares towards him forms one of my favorite bonds in anime. It can be hilarious seeing Laura break down, seeing Dianna, his queen, learning how to do laundry. It's also adorable. I love the love that the people had for Dianna. I loved Harry and his sincerity throughout the series. Even after the war, peace is and can only be temporary. Sooner or later, war will return because man and war are inseparable. It is mankind's unfortunate and eternal plague that leaves it from its start until the end. I think that everyone who can see the way the world really is today, in its horrid state, should try to take part in helping it. And I also think that it's the job of these people to make those who aren't aware of it. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Universities destroy knowledge. Governments destroy freedom. The major media destroy information. And religion destroys spirituality. Every generation feels like it's getting more and more reduced in consciousness. This leads to a grim observation. You will love the things that destroy you, and you will hate the things that advance your growth. Look at your behavior. Look at the behavior of your compatriots and watch if what I'm saying is not true. I hate to read. I hate to study. I hate to learn. Oh, but I love to party. I love to smoke. I like to drink. And all the loves you will find will be loves that what? That don't advance you one bit. And yet you can't get over them. You're addicted to them. But things that lead to growth, to growth in wisdom, knowledge, self-understanding and self-discovery, healthy relations, self-control, all those things are hateful. But this is the only way a minority can rule over a majority of people, is by turning their minds backwards, so that they may love the things that destroy them and hate the things that move them forward. In order for these people to rule over us, we must hate learning. This has to be built into us. If we were into learning, if we were into research and into thinking, and into real philosophical ideas and abstraction, we would defeat those people. They know it. So consequently, what they must do is rob you of all these things, so that they may make you stay in your place. As in Turn of Gundam's many messages, we may become more advanced, but with each war, it only feels like mankind is making better weapons to ultimately destroy itself with. We can't live as if we aren't a part of this. If everyone goes down, we go down with it. If mankind doesn't heed the warnings about war, there won't be anyone left to hold sticks and stones after they blast themselves back into a more primitive state again, or a planet for them to grow and decorate. Having watched all of Tomino's Gundam beforehand, it felt incredible to see it evolve as he went from entry to entry. I came to know Amuro, who tried to see the best for humanity with his unbreakable face and hope. I came to know Camille, whose fire was very bright and powerful, but warm with compassion. I came to know Juro, the free spirit. I came to know Uso, the warlord of Gundam. And I came to know Laura, the shining prince in mechanical armor.